Hello and welcome. I just want to start off by apologizing for the poor video quality. I'm very new to this YouTube thing. This is actually my first full-length video and my first time doing a voiceover, which any of you who recorded your voice and then listened to it afterwards, you know that it can be hard sometimes because you think, ew, is that what I actually sound like? I sound like a nerd, man. So yeah, this is a little bit, so I feel a little self-conscious right now because I'm not used to recording my voice like this. But yeah, today we're going to be talking about Sonic, more specifically my obsession with Sonic. And during 2020 and 2021, it was basically all I ever thought about. I couldn't go 10 minutes without thinking about Sonic the Hedgehog and the comics and the games and just whatever. It's probably my biggest obsession, like my biggest and most long-lasting obsession. And yeah, so it created some interesting stories to tell, so I thought I'd share them today. Anyway, let's get right into it. I first became aware of what the Sonic franchise was all about when my brothers started getting into the LEGO Dimensions Sonic series. Just Sonic LEGO, so I guess there was only one. And yeah, not long after we discovered the Sonic Boom show on Netflix, and we all really liked it. It was pretty funny, and to this day I still really like it. I think it's probably one of the most based shows you can watch. And yeah. And not long after, we discovered the Archie comics, and I was obsessed. I fell in love with all the characters. Freedom Fighters, I just thought they were the coolest thing. And so I created my own OC, Zoe the Calico Cat, who later changed to a raccoon, but more on that later. Whenever my siblings and I got into a new franchise, we would always act out new episodes in the backyard, because that's how we keep ourselves entertained when our parents sent us outside. Yeah, at this point the year was still 2019, so I wasn't really in my Sonic era yet, I guess is what the term is now. But yeah, in 2020, my brother showed me the Sonic X series and the Sonic News Network, which is kind of like a fan wiki, and I became really interested in just researching characters, and particularly the ones with sad backstories like Whisper the Wolf and Bunny, and which is, I think it's pretty standard for some reason. People have a fascination with sad backstories, and so yeah, that's fun. And I eventually changed Zoe's species to a raccoon because I thought it was more unique. And her character went through many changes, and I could probably make an entire video about them. But yeah, she was pretty much your standard Mary Sue OC, and I don't like her. The main appeal about the Sonic series for me was the comics. I especially loved the work of Evan Stanley and Adam Bryce Thomas. If you don't know who those two artists are, they're pretty amazing. Super talented, and definitely recommend doing some research on their work because they're both very skilled. And when I found out that people made their own fan comics, I was very excited to jump aboard the bandwagon and make my own. I was still pretty new to drawing and almost had zero experience with storytelling, so my original drafts were bad, like really bad. I'd love to make a video about my old comics so I can discuss this topic in more detail, but for now I'll just say that most of my drafts were just rip-offs of other people's comics. Like Sonic Rift was a big one. I stole a lot of ideas from that one in my first draft. One of my first drafts. Almost all of these drafts contained my original character, Zoe. She was kind of the main reason why I made a comic. I just wanted to show the world how great my Sonic OC was and how everybody loved her. But I wouldn't admit that she's a Mary Sue because she's perfect. She can't be a Mary Sue. Yeah, I eventually settled on a story starring Mimic the Octopus, who's, by the way, currently my favorite character, and the comic would follow him on his redemptive arc. And I'm actually still working on this comic right now. That's actually what you're watching me draw in this video. I've changed the story a lot, and the draft before this one that I'm currently working on, it was so bad, but I was aware that it was bad, so I kept adding more characters to try and save it, but that only made it worse because now I had to find a way to make all these characters work with the overall story. But I was just getting confused because there were so many characters and the villain was horribly written. And so I've actually decided to just start over because I just can't get anywhere with it. But yeah, I'm still working on this comic, and Zoe, I don't know if she's gonna be in this. I'm considering it, but she's gonna be in it in a much different form than I originally intended. At the end of 2021, with the release of Disney's Encanto, my interest in Sonic was sort of pushed to the back burner. Over the next 2 years, I almost became completely indifferent to the Sonic franchise, and as I pursued other interests, such as my graphic novel, which you can, by the way, purchase on Amazon, link in my bio, and I also got really into Lord of the Rings, and what else was there? Mandalorian, I really liked The Mandalorian. And Spider-Verse was kind of cool, but it wasn't like a super big obsession. Yeah, my graphic novel and Lord of the Rings were the big ones, and I still really like Lord of the Rings to this day. Yeah, but in 2024, after reading Misadventures, which was one of the most recent volume of the IDW comics, my obsession has sort of returned, though not as strong as it once was. I definitely recommend checking out Misadventures. It's quite well written. There was a lot of interesting tension between the characters, and even though it wasn't as intense as some of the other story arcs in the IDW comics. But yeah, that's all I have to say. I don't want to spoil it for you, but yeah, go check it out if you haven't already. I think my interest in Sonic was a very important part of my development as an artist. It was when I really started to understand how comics worked, and I mean, even though I couldn't publish it officially as a comic, I still learned a lot, and I studied a lot of artists and their work, and as a result, my work improved a lot, and it's still improving to this day. So I'd highly recommend just studying the work of artists that you admire, because it's very helpful. And don't worry about being a copycat, because you will be able to make your own original work if you just follow the work of other artists, because that's kind of a big part of how I learned to draw. Was I was kind of copying Evan Stanley and Adam Bryce Thomas, and just doing pose studies of the characters they drew and stuff. And I did a lot of my digital art. I was trying to figure out how Evan Stanley colored her characters, because the way she colors them is amazing. Yeah, I think that even if you are a super cringy person, just keep pursuing the things you're interested in, within reason, obviously. Don't go too far, because we all know that what happens when people pursue their interests too far. Just look at DeviantArt. I'm not on DeviantArt, and there's a reason for that. But yeah, Anyway, that's all I have to say. So, bye.